Hello and welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Shaka Hislop and Ali Moreno. Just 2 games to go then in the Premier League. The penultimate match for Liverpool at St James's Park, taking on Newcastle. Looking over pressure on Manchester City, who aren't in action till Monday at home against Leicester. And it would be the perfect start for Jurgen Klopp's side. Van Dijk completely unmarked to make it 1-0 in the 13th minute.
Optional defending by Newcastle. Lascelles loses Virgil van Dijk, and it is a wide open header. I mean, this is a training header. 1-0.
So you kind of thought from there Liverpool would kick on. However, 7 minutes later, Newcastle would get the equaliser in quite bizarre circumstances, because you take a look at this. Arnold with a handball. Obviously, the referee doesn't see it. Atsu then makes it 1-1. So Liverpool, you could argue, get away with it here, even though they concede.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you give that as a penalty and a sending off, yes, Liverpool are down to 10 men with still 70 minutes left to play, but referee play on, and
referee didn't see it. Referee didn't see it, Shaka.
Six minutes later, Perez then hits the crossbar.
A couple of nice touches by Jose Perez. The second one in particular is a special one, and then the volley. Alisson's not getting there. Unfortunate.
Mo Salah would then make it 2-1.
This is a great ball over from Alexander-Arnold, but the finish by Mo Salah doesn't try to put an awful lot of power behind it, just guides it into that far post. That is wonderfully executed.
Daniel Sturridge starting this game, no Firmino, and 5 minutes into the second half, the Englishman with a chance to make it 3-1, puts it over the bar.
Oh.
Well, if you're going to put it over the bar, make sure it's way over the bar.
And wide.
Yeah, it's not great. I'll tell you that. It's not great.
4 minutes later, 2-2. Rondon with a goal.
Yeah, from the set piece, Newcastle with the initial clearance. Liverpool don't pick bodies up. Rondon finds a little bit of space.
Come on,
and
Shaq.
whoa.
Give it to him, Shaq. Find out the...
Vamos, Venezuela!
Yes, Shaq!
Now concern here as Salah goes down with 20 minutes to go. He would be stretchered off after this collision.
There's a right leg of Dubravka that comes across the face of Mohamed Salah, hits him on the side of the head. Had to come off.
Klopp said we'll wait and see regarding his fitness for the Barcelona games. 4 minutes to go. Van Dijk says, oi, Shaqiri should take this. He wants an in-swinger. He gets an in-swinger, and Origi makes it 3-2.
Well, when you score from some of the circumstances early on, that's the ball you want. All eyes on Van Dijk, but Origi goes in, gets a little nick off the defender as well. Whichever way, you take it.
A massive win for Liverpool then, defeating Newcastle by 3-2. This was a fascinating match, particularly in the second half. We just thought that Liverpool's title chances were all but over, but that Origi header very much keeps them in the race. And of course, there's a lot of people that don't want Liverpool to win the title for various reasons, and many of them on social media are pointing to the free kick that was awarded that led up to that third goal, suggesting Fabinho dived here.
Hey.
They're not wrong, are they?
No. Even with my loose standards, and believe me, I have loose standards when it comes to
Look at where the referee's assistant is.
Come on now.
Goodness me.
Never a foul.
But it was given.
Yeah,
and
now you got to defend it if you're Newcastle. Now you got to defend it, and you didn't do it properly, and give credit to Liverpool that they get the third goal. Huge result for Liverpool.
Yeah, this was huge, because that second half, we were all kind of sat there going, oh, you know, that's kind of it. It's done.
I thought we expected this to be one-way traffic throughout. I thought Newcastle played their part in making this an interesting contest. They were far more attacking than even I expected. But Liverpool were, as you would expect. And I thought Liverpool, yes, the better of the two teams, but you just wondered if they'd let it slip. You get a little bit of luck, and you make it count. And we keep going as far as this title fight goes.
You think 20 minutes to go, you feel like you've done everything. Midweek, you lose against Barcelona. You've won however many games, that was it, 10 games in the last 12, and yet you're in this situation where you see your star man stretchered off. Firmino, of course, didn't start. Like, even the most devout Liverpool fan must have thought at that stage, we're done.
Yeah, and it's difficult. And the fact is that when Origi comes on for Salah, you're not thinking that he's going to score the winner for you. You're hoping that maybe he has a moment that perhaps he severs a ball in, maybe Mane gets it on the end or something. But Origi wasn't supposed to be the guy because, let's be honest, he would not have been on the field had Salah not been injured. And so if you believe in that sort of stuff, where things are meant to be and destined and written in the stars, well, Salah comes off. Never good to see that happen.
Yeah.
Origi comes on, and he gets on the end of the game winner. You believe in that sort of stuff? Hang on to that stuff. The other thing that you got to believe is that I don't understand laws of the game that would make it better for Newcastle to miss the chance on their first goal. Because if Atsu misses the chance, and we're assuming that the referee has seen it, the handball by Alexander-Arnold, it's not only a penalty kick, but a red card for Alexander-Arnold. That's a much better scenario for Newcastle than having scored the goal and still have to play 11v11 against Liverpool. Something is wrong with a law that it's better for you to miss a chance than it is to score it.
Let's just remind you of this incredible run that both City and Liverpool are on at the moment. As I mentioned, Liverpool won 10 out of their last 12 matches. Their problem, very much their thorn in the side, is the fact that Manchester City have won 12 out of their last 12.
Yeah, that's good.
Of course, they're gone Leicester City at home on Monday. The final game of the season for Liverpool at Anfield against a Wolves side who won once again today. As I mentioned, for City, it's Leicester on Monday, and then Brighton, who are safe after the Cardiff result. So really, Liverpool fans are just hoping that Leicester City can do them a favour on Monday. Would you, as a City player, at any point today think, oh, goodness me, maybe it is written in the stars? Does it take any sort of mental toll on you seeing what Liverpool did today?
Well, it doesn't make it easier. That's certainly the case. And when you have to play second, in this case Manchester City, and having to wait a couple of days in order to play, because if you're Manchester City, you want to get out there.
Right.
If you're those players, you want to be out there and do your job and allow yourself to express what you can do out on the field rather than sitting and waiting and having to read everything that's now going on. And every finger is pointed at you. Say, okay, now the ball is in your court. You take care of it. And I think that does play a part. But if you're Manchester City and you're told, look, you have to beat Leicester at home and Brighton away, and you're a Premier League champion, you take it. I mean, what else would you want? This is something that they should be good enough to do. They have proven to be good enough to do it. The problem is that they're due for a bad result. They're due for a bad performance. Better not be this last couple of games.
It's interesting. Everything coming out of City, obviously, is saying the right things. In particular, this is why you play football. These are the sort of games you want to play in. You want to go in there knowing that you have to win it. Is that just rhetoric, or is that
no, that's an absolute truth. And to Ali's point, he's absolutely right. You prefer to play first and put the pressure on the opposition. And the length of time between Liverpool's win and City playing maybe plays a little bit of a part. The cause going Liverpool's way, I don't think affects you one way or the other. But this is what you, as a player, these are the moments that you relish, that you want to step up for. You want to be on the big stage when all eyes are on you and looking to see how you respond. If that doesn't get your juices flowing, then you're at the wrong club. Don't play for a club that's chasing titles every time they step on the field. Brendan Rodgers, Liverpool, you asking him, Brendan Rodgers, Leicester, you're asking him to do a favour. City haven't been great, but they keep getting the results.
These are the moments you want, and you want to be on that stage when you have a team and you have the confidence to be that group.
Right.
When you're a little shaky, you don't want any part of this. But Manchester City's not shaky.
Meanwhile, neither are Barcelona, although they did lose today. What does that mean? They're, of course, taking on Liverpool at midweek in the second leg of that Champions League side. Ali could have got into this Barca team, I think, today.
Hey!
5 minutes in.
I don't mean to laugh that loud, Ali, sorry.
Dembele hurts his hamstring. He's forced off early. Celta would take the lead. Maxi Gomez still going, making it 1-0 with 23 minutes to go.
Never mind the goal by Maxi Gomez. It's not good news that Dembele gets injured. Seems to be happening way too often for Dembele, and is a player that they could have used in that second leg against Liverpool on the counter-attack.
Penalty awarded late on to Celta Vigo. Handball given.
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, it was given.
It's close. It's so close, though.
Sid Lowe's favourite player, Diego Aspas, would make it 2-0 then to Celta Vigo. But
Liverpool's Diego.
Yeah, just to confirm, here is the 11. Actually, it wasn't too bad, you know. I don't think Ali would have made the bench, but there we go.
No, wait a minute.
You can't take it back now.
Hey, Boateng. Hey, I got to tell you, I like my chances.
Now, it's a hard enough task, isn't it, if you're Liverpool, to try and turn it around 3-0 the first leg. But the team's completely rested. We heard Jurgen Klopp come out and say after the game Firmino's not going to feature. Salah's obviously a big question mark over his fitness after being taken off.
Yeah, that's a collective sigh coming from the Anfield dressing room. Listen, but similarly, when you're at a club like Liverpool, these are the moments that you look forward to. It's not ideal, but you know it's an opportunity for you or somebody to step up. And you don't shake that challenge, even with the deficit being what it is, even with Lionel Messi being who he is and Barca being well rested. As a neutral, it's not I don't think there's a whole lot to cheer about, but if you're in that dressing room, you're excited.
Not according to you.
I'm just saying.
That wasn't the level of excitement that you really want from the Liverpool players.
I'm not in the dressing room.
Okay.
I'm very happy I'm not.
Very far from the dressing room, apparently.
Barca loving life, yeah.
Yeah, of course they're loving life, but here's something that Liverpool also has going against them. The experience from Barcelona last year against Roma. It cannot happen 2 years ago. It simply cannot. And those are the same players that will be out on the field next week.
You may have missed it, but Lionel Messi was pretty good against Liverpool. Many people reminding Shaka Hislop of that fact on Extra Time today. There's some of the old ones there with Craig and Stevie. You can catch Extra Time on our YouTube channel. Meanwhile, Spurs taking on Bournemouth on the south coast. Spurs, of course, trying to solidify a top 4 place. It would not work out well for them. First half here, Son goes down. The referee doesn't give anything after a challenge from Jefferson Lerma.
Why is this important, Dan?
Well, because 6 minutes later, there's another little scuffle involving Son and Lerma, and Son has enough. Off you go, down you go. Red card then to Son. Spurs down to 10 men.
And Son tries to sell the push coming from behind after he had pushed Lerma down. That didn't quite work out. It's 100% a red card, and it's very, very dumb from Heung-min Son, who's 3 yards away from the referee. What do you expect is going to happen if you do that? Well, you get yourself thrown out. See you later. Take care. Well, early shower.
Let's take it into the second half, where things will get worse for Mauricio Pochettino, because just 3 minutes after the break, Foyth loses the ball and then decides to do that. Yeah, and it's a red card.
Foyth had just come on, and you see this challenge, and this is a red card all day long. Loses control. Look at that for a challenge. Listen, you can put your hand up and apologize all you like. That's a straight red.
So 0-0 though it would stand until the 91st minute. Ake with a header to make it 1-0.
It's a free run by Ake. 1-0. See you later.
Yeah,
Take care.
1-0 is a very familiar result when it comes to Spurs at the moment. Just taking a look at how things stand regarding the top 4. They're still in that 3rd place, but obviously Chelsea, Arsenal and United all play tomorrow. The final game for Spurs, by the way, is against Everton. It's been a really rubbish run for Spurs. 5 games have been 1-0, just for one of them in their favour. That was against Brighton. That was that Christian Eriksen goal, you remember. But it's all falling apart for Spurs at the moment. Very much the wrong end of the season. They're still odds-on favourites to finish in the top 4. Destiny is still in their hands as to whether or not they will do it. The problem is, looking ahead to that game against Everton, it's going to play up front. Yeah, Kane's out, Son's out.
You take absolutely nothing for granted, and this is Spurs once again trying to shoot themselves in the foot. It seems like just a few weeks ago we were having a semi-serious discussion as to whether Spurs could really challenge for the title. Yeah, but now all of a sudden we're having a discussion as to whether they're going to finish top 4. And the sending-offs are needless. They were warranted, you have to say. It's not as though somebody had something out for Spurs. Eric Dyer could have been sent off in the first half, in my opinion.
Well, they finished top 4, Chet.
I think they will. I think they have enough to finish top 4. And you look at Chelsea, who could go above them. Arsenal continue to limp, as Arsenal does. I think they do it, but only just. And it's ridiculous that we're having a discussion about Spurs kind of inching into the top 4 at this stage of the season, given how good they've been and making their own problems. Yet again, the injury to Kane, fair enough, but Son and Foyth, that's ridiculous.
Alejandro Moreno, who has a history with Spurs and their supporters,
Well, I don't know what kind of history it is. I just essentially tell them that their team at times, comes up short. But they will be in the top 4.
They're okay?
You trust me.
Okay.
Trust me.
And meanwhile, before that big game against Everton, there's a small matter of their clash against Ajax. Ajax are in action tomorrow in the Dutch Cup final, taking on Willem II. So a big game for them. You take a look at the odds regarding Ajax and Spurs. Ajax, of course, are favourites. So there was just confirmation there that it is.
Okay, right.
Good.
There we go. Ajax odds on to make it through to the final. I suppose we could say good news or bad news with regards to Spurs. If we were to say good news, Son is back. Obviously didn't feature in the first leg. Bad news for Spurs, you're 1-0 down, you're playing away, and you've just played a large chunk of a big match with only 9 men, with a lot of the players that are going to feature in that game on Wednesday.
Yeah, listen, Son being back is huge for Spurs, especially given the opposition, the pace that they play with, and the fact that you don't have an awful lot of pace up front yourselves, and that was to show in the first leg. But yes, playing for roughly just 40 minutes with 9 men is not ideal preparation. Listen, again, Spurs have made work hard for themselves. But you go to Amsterdam, where Ajax haven't won in their previous 2 rounds. Maybe you take some solace for that. But you're asking a lot of yourself yet again in a game and against an opponent that really you shouldn't be.
There's something to be said about confidence. When you feel good about yourself, it doesn't matter if you're tired. It doesn't matter. You don't really feel it. You're
like anything in life.
Yeah, correct. You feel good. You're thriving. Kind of like my marriage, thriving. I love you, babe.
What? Where? How we get here?
In any case, as I was saying,
that wouldn't concern me at all.
the problem about Spurs, though, is that there is no confidence.
Right.
There is nothing. There's nothing to hang on to and say, you know what? We've done well. We feel good about ourselves. There's something to look forward to. There's nothing there. Nothing to hang on to and grasp on and say, this is what's going to get us a result. They don't have it. Ajax does.
Unlike Ali's marriage,
not
a good day for Cardiff.
I love my wife.
They are relegated to the Championship, losing at home by 3-2 against Crystal Palace. Confirmed that they are down. Celebrations for Brighton, who will be in the Premier League next season. Just a reminder, Chelsea United, Arsenal, all in action tomorrow. Please join us, Shaka and Craig, with us.
Hey!
There are just 2 games remaining. Bayern Munich win next week. They are once again champions. 2019 has not been good, has it, for Borussia Dortmund? Just compare and contrast how they started the season. Dortmund, of course, with those 9 wins and 3 draws. Bayern, a bit of a rocky road. Lost 3 of their opening 12 matches. Since then, though, they have won 17 of their last 20 games. It looks like, once again, Bayern Munich will be champions of Germany. Inter can only manage a 0-0 draw against Udinese today, meaning that they are 4 points clear of Atalanta. They should be fine, of course. 3 matches to go for them. It is a tight old race for the top 4 as it stands. Atalanta are there, obviously they're in action tomorrow against Lazio. Matteo Benetti on the call for Matteo spilt water all over his notes going into this.
Top secret. Give me the game off. It's fine. It's all on here. Locked in the labyrinth.
How can you say that about Shaka? He's a lovely man.
Say that in public.
Usually he talks
say that in public.
Usually he talks about Gab. I didn't know he was talking about Shaka.
Who's the favourite for the top 4, in your opinion?
I think it's Atalanta, and I hope it's Atalanta for the sake of what they've done this season. They play the best football. They're the hardest team to break down. They have the best home field advantage, and they've actually learned how to replicate that advantage that they have when they're in Bergamo away, and that's why they're probably going to finish 4th. I think Gasperini should be coach of the year, and what we've seen from Milan, what we've seen from Lazio, these big teams that are tailing off at the end of the season, I generally do think that Atalanta, it won't be a fluke. They deserve to go to the Champions League, and let's see if they're actually able for once to keep a team together. The fact that they've sold off their best players every single transfer window, summer and winter, and they're able to do this, to me, one of the top stories, really in the top 5 European leagues.
So you want Atalanta?
Yes. And I think they're going to do it.
What's your Twitter handle?
The Calcio guy.
What did it used to be?
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you.
Did it used to be the Milan guy?
It did when I had a Milan blog on this.
Is this a massive double bluff?
No, it's not a double bluff.
You're going against your beloved Milan.
I'm speaking purely objectively. What we've seen from Milan under Gattuso, it is going down this way.
Wait.
Let's get into it.
Last time you were here, you told us that you would take Gattuso over Pochettino.
I didn't say that.
What do you mean you didn't say that?
The question was, if Milan finished fourth, should Gattuso stay? Absolutely. They're not going to finish fourth. They might finish outside of Europe.
Gattuso, then you say.
Yes.
Hey, and I'm going to copy exactly. I'm going to say exactly and do exactly what you said. Under Gattuso, they've gone like this.
Yes, they have. And in hindsight, it's easy to speak. Had they finished fourth, they keep Gattuso.
I told you then that I would take Pochettino over Gattuso.
If they finish fourth, they should keep Gattuso. They're not going to. Get Pochettino then.
Okay.
They're not getting Pochettino anyway.
He's going to be the Atalanta
He'd be lucky
guy
to go to Milan, by the way.
Oh, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. Stop it. He wouldn't.
I'm not going to do this. Word on Roma. What's going on?
Milan guy's back.
What's going on in Roma?
In Roma, there's going to be a manager change this summer. Ranieri was brought in to take over, basically as an interim coach. It was De Rossi and some other of the leaders in the team that actually texted Ranieri to say, please come help us until the end of the summer. But I think he always knew that it wasn't going to last past then. I think they're going to get a pretty top manager for their standards this summer. And they have a lot of young players. Unfortunately, a lot of the Monchi signings did not work out. Some of them were injured. A lot of them just weren't used to Serie A, came from other smaller leagues like Cengiz Under, and really haven't shown consistently that they can contribute in a league like the Serie A that's so hard to break down defenses. So with Monchi gone, expect a slightly different rebuild this summer and a new identity going into next season.
A lot of questions as well, despite the fact they're obviously home and hosed regarding the title, about Juventus and the future of their manager. This is what Allegri had to say regarding whether or not they were too negative in the Champions League against Ajax. People might criticise my style of football, but the job of a coach is to bring the results home for his club. Ajax are up against us, who are missing 5 players. They went to London against a Tottenham side that was missing both star strikers. I'm saying Ajax are a good team, but they've had some luck to get where they are. I don't want to really analyse that too much because that's clearly nonsense. But looking at it, what's the feeling amongst Juve fans regarding Allegri?
Well, they want him out. They want him out. They don't feel like he's the kind of manager that goes in line with what Juve are trying to be as a club, a team that can spend €35 million net on the salary of Cristiano Ronaldo, that is trying to market themselves to be a top club worldwide, new logo, new stadium. So their idea right now, they want to go all in this summer on Pep Guardiola. He is the manager that they feel will take them to the next level, which is the Champions League. It's this obsession now. They've lost it twice, Champions League final with Allegri. He's out this summer, and I think it's going to be a manager.
That's quite an achievement, isn't it, for Juve to make it to 2 Champions League finals under Allegri?
I think it is, but it's almost like they've hit a wall now, and not just with the success. Okay, they've won domestically, they've won the treble under Allegri, that's all fine and good, but it's all about the Champions League when you bring in Cristiano Ronaldo, and they haven't been able to go as far, and to get knocked out by Ajax, a team that has a fraction of their budget, is ridiculous. There's no excuse. That's why we should even analyze what Allegri said. I thought that was shocking of him to come out and say that against a team that was so much younger, that outplayed them over the 2 legs. They deserve to go out of the Champions League, and they haven't been playing well all season long. That's why a change is going to come this summer.
So if Allegri goes, who comes in?
They're going to go all in on Pep Guardiola. It's obviously in Guardiola's court.
He's not going to leave City, is he?
Well, that's the question. Is he or isn't he?
No.
Money talks. People said the same. Dan, people said the same thing.
Look how much he's making at City. He's the highest paid manager in the world.
Weren't people saying the same thing about Cristiano Ronaldo when the rumors came out?
No, everyone said this kind of makes sense for everybody because he kind of...
You're telling me people thought when that rumor came out that it would actually happen, that Ronaldo would go to Juventus from Real Madrid.
But there was a discussion to be had that maybe this was right for all parties. But for Pep Guardiola, you think, well, why would you go to Juventus?
No,
that's not a discussion.
You're 100% correct, Dan.
He shouldn't go for what reason then?
He shouldn't go for the reason that he has a better team in place right now in Manchester City.
Based on what?
Based on what? What do you...
Based on, have they won the Champions League?
You're serious?
No, I'm asking because Juve's won now 8 straight Scudetti.
No. Don't bring 8 straight Scudetti into this when you just said that that's not good enough for Allegri to stay around.
How can you compare City with Juventus then? It's only the Champions League that is a comparison of leagues against each other. So what makes City a better team than Juventus?
Okay, you just made an argument against Juventus and the way that they've played.
No, against Allegri.
And that they've hit a wall.
Right?
Manchester City hasn't hit a wall.
Okay, but
No,
what tells you that they're a better side?
You're contradicting yourself.
I'm not contradicting myself. What tells you they're a better side than Juventus?
When you say that Juventus has hit a wall.
Yes.
Okay. That they're not getting better. That they're not getting better. That the style of play is not what Juventus fans want. Okay. Why would Guardiola leave what he has now built and has in place in Manchester City to go and try resuscitate what you think is not working at Juventus?
Because he hasn't left projects before to take on new projects in the Bundesliga, Premier League, La Liga. Serie A's next. He's played. He knows how to speak Italian. He's been at Brescia. I think it makes perfect sense. And if he could bring that style to Juventus, it would be a great coup
from your perspective. It would be a great move from Juventus.
To say City is better for him than Juventus, to me, is ridiculous. What Juventus is spending right now on players, they're trying to be the top team worldwide. That's just the fact of the matter. They're trying to outspend every other team.
But they're not accomplishing it.
Well, this is Juventus, who've got Aaron Ramsey coming in the summer, who wouldn't get anywhere near the Manchester City squad.
Okay.
Emre Can came in. You know, it's one thing saying that Juventus are there ready to compete, but let's face it, how many players that Manchester City have, they would pretty much all walk into a Juventus team.
To go back into the Juventus perspective, obviously if Pep Guardiola comes, everyone knows that a midfield reshuffle is needed. And okay, Aaron Ramsey maybe isn't the world-class player. I think he's getting overpaid as well. I'm not saying Aaron Ramsey is the solution, but you'd think that if a Guardiola came in, who Juventus are seriously pursuing this summer, that he would also have a say in some of the transfers. Players would leave, and they could rebuild.
We're going back to the original question, why would you leave?
Because he's left before leagues and situations where he had it good. He had it good at Barcelona. Maybe it was the end of an era at Barcelona. He went to a Bayern side as well. Now he's gone to Manchester City. So why not Juventus? As if that's not a step down.
But it's not an upgrade. But it's not an upgrade.
But we're saying it's not
an upgrade.
I understand if you're Juventus that you want Pep Guardiola.
Of course.
What club wouldn't? And if you're that way inclined, you can make a decent argument as to why he should go. And as much as maybe he's been at City his usual 3 years or whatever you want to say, I just think his situation at Manchester City is different than it ever will be at Juventus. As much money as City has spent in the past, I think now they're trying to build not only the first team, but the infrastructure from the youth teams and the academies around Pep Guardiola's direction and his personality. I don't think Juventus would do that, just kind of given the history of their club. So I don't see the lure for Pep Guardiola to leave what he has at City, to go to Juventus. I don't think money's an issue. I'm sure City are prepared to match whatever Juventus are prepared to offer him, both in salary and in transfer budget. I understand the argument. For me, it just doesn't make sense that if I'm Pep Guardiola, to leave right now.
Just a reminder, plenty of Italian action for you over the next
How's Gattuso
48 hours.
He's going to Juventus.
He's
going to Juventus,
isn't it? Totally in hindsight.
Matteo will be on the call for Lazio against Atalanta.
I'm tuning in. I'm calling in.
And then on Monday, Matteo rooting for Bologna. They're away against AC Milan.
It's a reverse trick.
The Atalanta guy?
Welcome into Extra Time. For those who saw the show, we won't be mentioning Pep Guardiola to Juventus. Got a little feisty. That's a nice Saturday chat.
I know.
I thought it was a lovely chat. I enjoyed it.
You're off to Rome, aren't you?
Yes.
For Roma against Juventus?
Absolutely, yeah.
What a moment.
Does that mean he's not here next weekend?
He won't be here next week.
Hey!
I know. Good for me. Trust me.
Hey!
I'm staying out of that.
Well, unfortunately,
you
Shaka, you can't stay out of what's been going on timeline mentions. No matter what we put out at the moment, everyone turns it towards you.
Why? Why?
Well,
Why?
What did you do, Shaq?
I don't know. I'm just sitting here enjoying my Saturday afternoon with friends.
Shaka is right.
Aha.
Maradona won a World Cup where Brown, Valdano and
Burruchaga
scored in the final. Messi didn't win a World Cup because Higuain didn't score the easier one, so Messi can't be the best ever. Logic.
I think there's sarcasm there.
Sarcastic.
I don't quite understand.
So if Higuain scored, he would have won a World Cup.
If Messi scored, he would have won a World Cup as well.
Yes, saw Shaka the other day. Can we stop pretending the World Cup is the highest level, ergo that's the barometer for the GOAT. The Champions League is by far the highest level, and Messi is the GOAT.
That doesn't deserve a response.
I agree with you,
Sorry,
Shaq.
we've got one more. Messi has the most number of assists in a World Cup. I doubt you even knew that. Higuain calls Messi the trophy. He took his useless team to 4 different finals.
What's your question?
Just out of all of them.
That was a statement.
Let's start off with basic A. Champions League is a higher standard than World Cup, yes?
That's where the argument just ends right there. If that's where you started, I'm going to.
No, but the quality of football's higher at Champions League level than World Cup. You can agree with that?
No, I'm not. The World Cup is the highest level of football. It is the most prestigious trophy in the game.
Prestigious.
Let's not even. It's the most pressure that players face. Everything about the World Cup for me surpasses the Champions League. Let's not have that argument. I'm not.
I agree with you, Shaq.
I'm not.
But the level of football's not higher at the World Cup.
Yeah,
but the pressure, and I agree with the pressure and the prestige.
Okay.
But the quality of football is
right.
higher.
But then you can make the argument that if the pressure were not what it is and it didn't mean what it means, then maybe the quality would be higher. See, I know where you're trying to get me to, and you're not going to railroad me. Railroad Shaq.
Sorry, Shaq, is your point based on that you think Messi didn't do as well as he should have? Because if Messi was, for argument's sake, let's say Messi was from Venezuela, a country that never made the World Cup, then you would.
No. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Then you couldn't have a go at him because it's not his fault.
Okay.
You can't choose the nation.
I was here last World Cup.
Here's another thing that really irks me. Let's stop talking about hypotheticals. Because we're not giving anybody else hypotheticals. We don't break down Ronaldo's career in hypotheticals. We don't break down Maradona's career in hypotheticals, nor do we do it with Pele. Let's not do it for Messi. Ask something else.
Okay, sample size then. Sample size based on every game he's played for Barcelona and every game he's played for Argentina. I think there is a point, though, to say that if Higuain put it away, would we all be seeing it differently? Because we'd say, okay, well, he's won the Champions League multiple times, he's won the World Cup, and maybe you'd forget that he didn't score the goal in the final.
And that's a fair point. But he also had a one-on-one Manuel Neuer in the 2014 final, which he pulled wide. He also had a penalty to win the Copa America in, 2011? Which he put over the crossbar. There's all kind of ways we could break this down. And the fact that it matters, and listen, I understand. There's going to be split opinion on this because what we're talking about is the best individual in what is a team game. So you're going to have a mixed message, as it were. Now, I believe that team comes first, and team performance and success trumps everything else. Now, you might think that it's how many players Messi dribbles. You might think it's how many individual moments. I think it comes down to what the team does and your contribution in that team's success. And if your team doesn't have success, I'm not sure how we measure your contribution.
Okay.
And let's not get angry about it.
I'm asking hypotheticals.
Not you guys, just in general, just on Twitter.
I don't know what's happening on Twitter.
Just enjoy it, embrace it.
I don't know what's happening on Twitter.
Messi's a brilliant player, if he's the greatest ever or not. Just
How about this?
enjoy it.
Comparison's the thief of joy. Messi, Ronaldo, who cares? Pele. Listen, I didn't see Pele. I wasn't even alive. I wasn't a thought for another 30 years. To me, they're such different players. I don't care about comparisons. But they're such different players. Who cares about comparisons? They're each brilliant in their own different ways.
Is
They've each won everything. In my lifetime that I've watched, I think Messi's the best ever. I can't sit here and say that I watched Maradona when I was my age now that I would understand. So I can't say, in my lifetime, I think Messi's the best ever.
I'll say this to your point about comparisons. It feels like it's become more important now for some reason. Certainly when I grew up, it was just accepted that Pele was the greatest ever, no question. And then Maradona came along, and it only became a thing because Maradona had some issues with Pele. And he would have a whole lot to say in the press about it. Then there was Brazilian Ronaldo, and nobody really cared and discussed it. And, you just kind of, I like him, and moved on. Now, all of a sudden, it's become a debate topic weekly, it seems. And I don't understand the vitriol behind it when, to be honest, before now, nobody really cared.
Should we move on?
Thank you very much.
Hey, but did you see what he was trying to do in the beginning?
I don't take that on.
Yeah, he was trying to pin you in a...
I have to pin Shaq. I just think the World Cup is...
No. A. Let's start with A.
What England made it to the semi-final and beat no one. That's just, what does that mean? It's the final of the Champions League, and it's the last episode of Game of Thrones. Which one do you watch?
Oh, man. I watched my first episode of Game of Thrones the other day.
Which was the latest one. But we've got into trouble with spoilers recently, so don't say anything that will spoil it for people.
Well, I don't know if I could spoil. I have no idea what's going on.
Just the dragon had blue
One of the dragons had blue fire.
That was it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Spoiler alert.
My wife was very excited by it.
It's just my wife.
Yeah, it must be a...
You don't like Game of Thrones?
No, I know.
No, that's
Why
strange.
you say it?
That's almost strange to me at this point. But you DVR Game of Thrones and you watch it after the Champions League final. Simple as that. You have both of them. Best night ever.
No, it's one or the other. You'll never see one or the other.
Jeez.
Now,
Is it that much?
No, it's the Champions League final, obviously. If Milan's there.
What if it's two Premier League teams playing each other?
No,
in the front?
Game of Thrones. Bring it on. Bring on the battle.
There it is.
Bring on the battle.
There it is. Well, actually, if there are no Italian team playing, that he won't watch it.
Well, there might be no Premier League teams this year.
Hey, why are you looking at me? I'm not Premier League.
there's more
I have no relationship with the Premier League. You know that, right?
Let me just say,
neither.
there's more chance of a Serie A team being in Game of Thrones than in Champions League final.
Fact.
Right then.
I'm so glad I'm off Twitter, honestly.
Fabinho has caused a stir with the way in which he went down to win the free kick, in which Liverpool scored the winner. How do you stamp out diving once and for all? Downright cheating ends up winning you whole games.
VAR!
Hey.
VAR wouldn't have helped that.
Isn't it a part of the game?
Good VAR.
Better VAR.
VAR that stamps out that.
VAR stopped.
Yeah.
Then you'd have a stoppage every 5 seconds.
Yeah, but
It's always been a part of the game, though, hasn't it? Players have made their whole career on diving. Filippo Inzaghi, a few others. I mean,
I don't know why you're looking at me. I don't know why you're looking at me. I don't know.
Who is more likely to stay at Inter, Icardi or Spalletti?
oh, that's a tough one. I think God, this is a 50-50. Icardi, to me, is definitely out this summer, so I'm going to say Spalletti, but I think they're both going to leave this summer.
Matteo.
Okay.
That's my
Totally right. He's over there.
Dramatic pause.
I won there.
Okay.
Who is Milan going to hire for the coach this summer?
Well,
Wow.
funny you should ask.
They're not going to be in the top 4, it looks like. They actually might be out of the top 6 and not in Europe whatsoever.
Wow.
So what they have to do, though, is not hire former players as managers. Gattuso, Seedorf, Inzaghi, it's all failed so far, given the way...
Off as well. Eliminate.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, they've had a lot of managers, not one clear identity. They need to get an established manager, not all these newcomers, which is basically all they've had since, well, Carlo Ancelotti left the team. It's just been a revolving door of different managers that just have not been up to the task.
So give me a name.
Pochettino. I'm just going to go with Pochettino. If they don't finish in the top 4, Pochettino. At least they would play
You
good
wouldn't
football.
take him, you said. You wouldn't take him.
If they finish in the top 4, we need to get a video of that clip so we can...
You said you wouldn't take him.
We can stop this
You said
propaganda
Gattuso was
once
better
and
than
for all.
Pochettino.
No,
you said
okay.
it, I didn't.
Next question.
What? What is that?
Final one. What's the worst weather you ever played in?
Oh. It didn't snow a couple of times. Well, this is when I was playing in college. It snowed. That's not good.
Did you wear pants?
Yes.
Thermals?
A lot of pants.
A lot of pants.
And a lot of shirts as well as it
Yeah.
happens.
Double gloved?
Nah. Kind of weird. Lose feeling. But that's feeling.
Played an ice storm once. That wasn't a whole lot of fun. Yeah, that wasn't great. And because I played with my back to goal and then the wind was blowing in my direction, then I had essentially snot just frozen all
And
over
we
my
know how
face.
much you fall over as well.
Yeah, that didn't help. No, I stayed up that game. Altitude, does altitude count? Of
course.
That's just,
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
hurts.
altitude is fun. I played at
Yeah, that hurts.
played in Mexico. That was fun. Well, we were getting beat. Which
But
we
what do you
accept.
do?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you were running.
What are you doing?
I kicked every ball along. I launched the length of the field. We getting smashed. So you take joy in these simple
But how does
things.
altitude affect you?
Well, that effort,
Kicking
all
the
that
ball a long
effort.
way.
No, but you're saying it as if it's tough for you, altitude.
I said it was fun. I was kicking the ball a long way.
Worst weather, not most fun weather.
No, we were having a casual conversation among friends.
I can relate with them. One time playing FIFA 19, AC, left it on a bit too cold, couldn't feel my hands. So
That's the problem.
we've all been there,
Yeah,
boys.
yeah.
We've all been there.
That is it. ESPN FC returns. Have a lovely time in Rome.
Oh,
Thank you,
yeah.
Dan. I appreciate it.
Yeah.